All right, so for those of you that are tuning in to the channel for the Blender videos or Substance Painter or for these little mini vlogs, I'll tell you where we are at with respect to the antidote case and my life in general. As you know, I've been kind of sick. I don't mean to harp on that, but it's taken me a while. It's been about 6 days, got a nice cold, and it's not so nice. I don't know if it's something coming from Ontario to Atlantic Canada. I mean, I've been out in Atlantic Canada for about 6 years, but I somehow find the viruses out here just are brutal. And, you know, I don't know if it's advancing age. Well, I'm sure that's a factor. I'm relatively active, you know. You see me out and about with my dogs and kids all the time. But anyhow, they kick my butt. I still managed to do a little video last night for you, showing you the completed antidote case model, completed. And on the side, I have been painstakingly unwrapping it. Mostly manual unwraps, a little bit of other stuff, and testing. And that's what I suggest you do, unless you are really good at unwrapping and you know it's going to work based on the methods you use. What I do, anyhow, if you're anything like me, or you want to know, is I'll take a part of the model. So, for example, the case itself, without the insert, without the needle or the vials or anything, and I'll unwrap it using a few different methods, and I'll try them. I'll bring them into Substance Painter, and I will assign multiple textures. Now the thing is, what I find is the materials, as opposed to the smart materials in Substance Painter, sorry about that, they will treat seams and UV islands slightly differently. I find the materials are very forgiving. The smart materials are not, and it's sometimes harder to find places to use triplanar projection in the smart materials. I find, anyhow. You know, you're digging around looking. It doesn't always do the job. And if it doesn't, so therefore I'll test with a material and a smart material, in particular smart materials. If the unwrap is not going well, and you can often tell by looking at the unwrap, but if it looks like, hey, I think this is going to work. If it doesn't, I'll go back and I'll unwrap it a different way. Put seams in different places. Try it again. See how it works. Once I've got it unwrapped, that takes the texture nicely, I will then move on a level, and I'll do the case plus the insert. 2 parts of the model or 3 parts of the model. Unwrap those. And I'm using the UDIM method, so they're in multiple UV tiles. And I'll try that out. And I will keep adding until I've got the whole model done. So, I did a lot of it last night. Even though I'm sick, I'm not talking on camera, and I can take my time. And it's enjoyable, when you finally get it to work, there's a sense of satisfaction. So I'm here to tell you, I just walked uphill, having a bit of, it's not a steep hill, but when you're having trouble breathing. Anyhow, sorry about that. I'm here to tell you that I think it all works, unless I'm missing something, or I'm not seeing the backside of something, in which case it doesn't really matter. But anyways, yeah, I think it's all good. So that leads me to the focus of the next video. I don't want to do all that again on camera. What I figured I would do, it's one thing if you're doing a can of Coke and okay, here's how you unwrap a can of Coke, or here's how I do it, but when you're doing It's not a big model, but a relatively, involved model with lots of parts. It has taken me a couple of days of, I don't know, maybe 6 hours a day. It's a long time. Certainly not going to make a 12-hour video redoing it all. So I have to make a long story short. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my unwraps. I'll point out some of where I put seams, maybe why I did it or why I didn't put seams here or there. I mean, seams can be used in Substance Painter also to delineate where a material would go. So if you have, one object, let's say you got the vial, all right, and you want a certain material or color on one part of that and another, you could sit and you can painstakingly select faces or planes or whatever, till the cows come home. They may never come home. Or you can put a seam and then you can sort of select a chunk. It's the UV chunk method. So there's more to seams than just unwrapping an object when you're working in Substance Painter. And anyhow, what was I saying? I'm going to show you where I put my seams. I'm going to show you how I set up my UDIMs, my UV tiles. I think I have 14, and I wrote down on a pad, in tile 1, I'm going to have the bottom of the case. In tile 2, I'm going to have the top of the case. Tile 3 is the insert. 4 is the whatever came next, the faders or the fans, and that kind of thing. So I've got it all laid out. I've got a temporary texture on there. I'm experimenting so that when I come to do the video, I can, do it with confidence and, quick enough that doesn't take forever. And I can go back and I can change all that, I can try different color schemes and that kind of thing. So if I feel well enough, I will do that tonight. If not, it'll have to be, I hope, tomorrow night. So I hope to be able to come back and do more stuff for you. I know this series has taken a little while and had that interruption because I got sick, but we'll get through it and we'll move on to something else. But in the meantime, I still like the project and I really want to get it finished and I want to show you. And anybody else who's doing it, I wish you luck and I hope you're able to follow what I'm doing. And I'm sorry that I don't do every step in the UV unwrapping texturing process because it's a long process. All right, so we'll get back in touch soon. Take care of yourselves. Don't get sick like I did, and we'll talk soon.